So here we're going to be looking at best responses and lack of pure strategy Nash equilibria in a rock, paper, scissors game. Okay, so we described this game as we from previous games in this chapter in normal form. So I have two players, blue and red. They each have three strategies. So this example of how we can, just have two strategies instead have three. Rock, paper, and scissors. Okay, so as you know the game, rock, is caught by the paper bag, but the rock smashes the scissors. Okay, and you do this simultaneously. So we look at the choice of strategies in this game. As before, we're going to be marking the best responses. We're going to be looking for best responses. We're putting ourselves first in the shoes of blue, saying, what if red were to play rock? What would blue's best response be? Well, it's comparing the payoffs playing rock 0, payoff of playing paper 1, to payoff of playing scissors 1. So paper catches rock. That's the best response for blue. We could also, by the way, say that this is an example of what we call a zero-sum game, where the sum of the payoffs within each cell, each set of strategies, sum to 0. So this is a typical way of describing the payoffs in this kind of game where, whatever you're gaining is whatever the other one is losing. So in terms of relative standing, this would be it. Okay, so that's if red were to play rock. Then if red were to play paper, again, we're comparing payoffs for blue. Highest payoff for plays scissor. Scissor cuts the paper. If red plays scissors, blue is comparing the different payoffs here. Highest payoff for rock. Rock breaks the scissors. We then move over, put ourselves in the shoes of red and compare. So what if blue were to play rock? What are the payoffs for red then? Well, they're 0, 1, or -1. 1 is highest. Paper catches the rock. And again, going through if blue plays paper, best response for red is scissors. And best response for red in the case that blue plays scissors is rock. Okay, so we've underlined the best response. And as we did before, when we looked at, we noted that a Nash equilibrium is mechanically described by both strategies being underlined. Strategy for each of the players is a best response to the strategy of the other player. In this case, there's no such set of strategies, okay? In other words, there's no Nash equilibria in what we call pure strategies. For any set of strategies that we can think of here, at least one of the players will have incentives to unilaterally deviate, okay? So if we're looking, for instance, at the set of strategies paper and rock, this cell, what happens? Well, red has an incentive to unilaterally deviate. If blue were to stick whatever she's doing, red would prefer to switch here to play scissors instead of rock. Or if we take paper and scissors as a set of strategies, here, looking at blue, well, what happens here? Well, blue has an incentive to unilaterally deviate, etc., etc. Okay, so there's no set of strategies that is a Nash equilibrium in pure strategies. Meaning what? So when we say pure strategies, is where the strategy is chosen by the player, with sort of decides this is what I'm going to be choosing. Of course, if you've played rock, paper, scissors, you know that the trick to be successful here is to be unpredictable. You're randomizing between these different strategies. Okay, so you can think of there will be what we call Nash equilibrium in mixed strategies, where you think of the players choosing the probability that they will be playing each of these different strategies, okay, or each of these different actions. So in this case, if they're both sort of randomizing well, they would be choosing a strategy probability of 1/3 for each of these. But that's sort of more, calculating that is beyond the scope of this textbook. But we use example to show two things. A, how do we think intuitively of mixed strategies? And B, there are games where there's no set of equilibria in pure strategies.